Polls.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. And we thank you for being here, Barnaby.
Okay, picture this. You've done it. The paperwork is finally signed. The buyer sent the contract back. No changes. Your broker's probably celebrating. The handshake felt solid. You feel that huge sigh of relief, right?
Absolutely. That relief, knowing the biggest deal of the year, seems done. You've probably even started figuring out what you'll do with the money.
Exactly. Mentally, that wire transfer is already spent.
And that is the key moment. It's the point where you're most emotionally, well, vulnerable. That feeling of relief is precisely what some, let's say, aggressive buyers count on.
Because then, just when you're finally relaxing, you get that email. It usually sounds polite, almost apologetic, starting with something like, after taking a closer look during due diligence, we unfortunately need to adjust our offer.
Mm-hmm.
And bam! Just like that, maybe $100,000 you thought you had just vanishes. That shock, that sudden hit to the value right in the middle of the deal, that's what we're calling the retrade trap.
It hits so hard because it often comes when the seller's just psychologically checked out.
Right.
Done with the whole process.
Right.
So our mission today is to really give you the full playbook. We're doing a deep dive into understanding it, hopefully preventing it, and definitely how to respond when a buyer tries to adjust the price mid-deal in commercial real estate.
We're going to break down why this honestly oldest trick in the book actually works, how buyers systematically pull it off, and crucially, how you can navigate it, how you can beat it without losing your cool or your equity.
Yeah, and look, when we say retrade, we should be clear. Technically, it should mean discovering something genuinely new, something material that actually impacts the property's value. That's the legitimate side.
Okay.
But often in practice, especially when it's timed just right, it becomes pure leverage. It's just a way to squeeze out a discount. So the distinction is really critical. A retrade is, let's say, revelation if it's true, but it feels like robbery if it's just timed perfectly.
Okay. Robbery if timed right. Let's dig into that robbery part then, because what's really striking is that the pros, the really experienced buyers, they don't just stumble into this. They often have a structured, almost cynical 5-step process.
Oh, absolutely. It's practically engineered to create that discount. The whole goal is to weaponize the seller's urgency and turn it into the buyer's leverage.
Wow. Okay, so what does this playbook look like?
Well, it really is like a staged performance. It kicks off with what you could call the charm phase.
Charm phase.
Yeah, they're all confidence, all assurances. They say exactly what you want to hear. We absolutely love this park. We're solid, well capitalized. We'll close this super fast, no problem. They want you feeling completely secure, thinking, wow, this is the easiest buyer ever.
So they're basically setting you up, lulling you into this false sense of security before dropping the hammer. That sounds pretty calculated.
It can be. And once they have that signed contract, that's when phase 2 starts. The silence phase.
Silence.
Meaning minimal updates. During that crucial due diligence period, they just go quiet. Right when you, the seller, are naturally getting a bit antsy, wanting confirmation that everything's on track.
Why the silence?
Well, it serves a purpose. It stops you from having those little check-in calls where you might uncover what they're really thinking or give you a chance to address minor things before they blow them up.
Got it. So the silence is the calm before the storm, which is phase 3, the discovery phase.
Exactly. This is where they suddenly find an issue, or sometimes, let's be honest, they actively manufacture one. It could be something small, like an inspection report mentions a minor roof patch needs attention.
Okay.
They'll take that and immediately frame it as, a major unforeseen capital expenditure item that somehow requires this huge discount.
Wow. So they find the lever. Then what?
Then they move smoothly into the pressure phase. And notice how they do this. They carefully avoid taking any personal blame. It's always external force.
Right, like it's not us, it's...
Precisely. They'll say things like, look, we still love the deal, but our lenders suddenly flagged this issue and they're insisting on a holdback, or maybe, our equity partners reviewed the file and now they're requiring a slightly higher yield given current conditions.
Passing the buck.
Always. They present the price cut as the only possible solution to this problem that, conveniently, is now your problem, even though they might have just cooked it up.
Okay, so charm, silence, discovery, pressure. What's the final step?
The knockout punch is the deadline trap. After building all that pressure, they hit you with urgency. They force you, the seller, into an immediate, painful choice. Either accept the discount, take that $100,000 hit right now, or face the agony of the deal falling apart.
Which means starting all over again.
Exactly. Restarting the marketing, explaining to backup buyers why the first deal died, which always raises suspicions. They know the clock is ticking, often on their own financing contingency too, so they want you to fold and fold fast.
It's brutal, and the effectiveness of this whole playbook seems almost entirely psychological.
It is. It's a precision strike aimed right at your mental exhaustion. It targets that moment when you just want the whole thing to be over.
It really is like psychological warfare. It's not testing the property so much as the owner's nerves. Why are we so vulnerable right then, right before closing?
Well, I think it boils down to three really powerful psychological pressures hitting you all at once. First, and probably the biggest one, you've already mentally spent the money.
Yeah, that's huge.
Whether you're planning to reinvest in another asset, maybe retire, or like one client I remember selling his park, he'd already picked out the new sailboat. That money is emotionally allocated. In your mind, the property is kind of already sold.
And having to mentally reverse that, to unspend it, that's painful.
It's intensely painful. Second big factor, you've likely told people the deal is done. You've told your spouse, your team, your broker, maybe even hinted to key tenants that a sale is happening.
Oh, right, the social pressure.
Exactly. Going back on that now feels like, well, like a public failure, or at least a really embarrassing climb down. Nobody wants to lose face like that. It pushes you towards just accepting the cut to avoid the awkward conversations.
And the third thing, which maybe gets overlooked, just sheer exhaustion.
Absolutely. Think about it. You've been through the showings, dug up endless documents, gone back and forth on negotiations, maybe had sleepless nights waiting for that contract. By the time they hit you with the retrade demand, you are just plain tired.
Yeah, worn down.
And savvy buyers know this. They strike right at that moment of maximum fatigue, banking on the hope that you'll just take the path of least resistance to get across the finish line. So the retrade often isn't really about optimizing the numbers for them. It's about testing your resolve, seeing how badly you want out.
That really frames the problem clearly. Okay, so let's say we're in that situation. We get the call, the email.
Yeah.
How do we, as sellers, tell the difference? How do we know if it's a genuine material issue versus the buyer just, leveraging our fatigue? Because not every adjustment is automatically bad faith, is it?
No, absolutely not. And the key, the absolute decider, is documentation, evidence. A legitimate retrade, one that you should actually consider, must come with concrete supporting evidence. Something that demonstrably changes the net operating income or genuinely requires significant unexpected capital investment.
Okay, so what kind of things qualify as legitimate? What's material?
We're talking things like discovering significant unreported vacancy or delinquency that really throws off the financials you presented. Not just one tenant, but something that fundamentally shifts the numbers.
Right.
Or a major, truly hidden infrastructure failure gets uncovered. Maybe a primary water line is found to be collapsing, or there's a serious sewer system issue requiring excavation, or a main electrical transformer is faulty in a way that just wasn't visible before. These are things that actually reduce the asset's underlying value and will cost real money to fix.
Okay, those sound like real costs, real problems. But what about the other kind? The manufactured retrades, the ones you called vibe requests earlier.
Ah, yes, the vibe requests. Those are basically excuses. They're used to cover up the simple fact that the buyer either got cold feet, their financing got shaky, or they just decided they want a better deal.
What do those sound like?
Oh, you'll hear things like, well, market conditions have shifted a bit since we signed the contract, or our internal investment committee met and they've decided they now need a higher yield from this asset.
Or the classic one I've heard, cap rates moved last week. What does that even mean for the seller? Why is that my problem?
Exactly. What it implies is that the buyer's cost of capital might have changed slightly, or their return expectations went up, making the deal slightly less profitable for them. So they're essentially saying, hey, our financing got a tiny bit more expensive, or we want to make more money, so we need you to eat that difference by accepting a lower price.
So they want me to subsidize their business decision
Yeah.
or their borrowing costs.
Precisely. It's usually a pretty transparent attempt to make the seller pay for the buyer's internal metrics or market interpretations changing.
Okay, this is crystallizing. It gives us that key takeaway, the rule we need to remember. Real retrades come with evidence. Fake ones come with excuses. And I love that quote you mentioned. If their discount comes with a spreadsheet, maybe. If it comes with a vibe, no.
That's it in a nutshell. And knowing that, the best defense against both the spreadsheet and the vibe is simply rock-solid preparation.
Wow.
You need to set things up so it's almost impossible for a buyer to credibly justify a last-minute discount.
Yeah.
The core idea here is simple. Sellers have to beat them to the bad news.
Okay, beat them to the bad news. But for maybe smaller investors listening, doing all that pre-due diligence sounds like potentially a lot of extra work, maybe significant cost up front. Is it really worth it just to potentially avoid a retrade attempt?
Oh, absolutely. Think of it like an insurance policy.
Yeah.
That upfront investment, maybe a few $1,000s, can save you from losing, say, $50,000 or $100,000 on an unjustified discount later. Which pain would you rather feel?
Good point.
That preparation gives you data. And in these negotiations, data isn't just power, it's leverage, it's confidence.
Okay, so let's get practical. What absolutely needs to be on our seller prep checklist? What are the must-dos?
All right, number one, and this is crucial, conduct thorough pre-due diligence on your own property before you even list it.
Meaning what, specifically?
Meaning get your own infrastructure checked out, maybe get photos or videos of sewer lines, get preemptive inspection reports on the big-ticket items, HVAC systems, the roof, and critically, make sure your rent roll, your delinquency numbers, your financials are absolutely ironclad and easily provable with documentation.
Got it. Know your property better than they do. What's next?
Number two, disclose everything proactively, especially the slightly ugly stuff. If you know the boiler's getting old and might need replacing in a year or two, document it. Disclose it right there in the offering materials.
Be upfront about the warts.
Exactly. Transparency is your shield. It prevents the buyer from pretending they discovered that known issue and using it as surprise leverage for a discount later. If they knew about it going in, they can't reasonably ask for a price cut because of it.
Makes sense. Number three.
Set crystal clear timelines in your contract. And critically, demand a substantive, truly non-refundable deposit, sometimes called hard money, that gets released to you immediately after their inspection period closes satisfactorily.
Ah, the financial penalty. Skin in the game.
That's the teeth. If a buyer tries to retrade after their deposit has gone non-refundable, they risk losing serious cash. That risk alone often stops a bluff cold. They have to be really serious about walking away.
Okay, solid point. And number four.
Use your as-is clauses effectively. Make sure the contract language precisely reflects the property's condition as you disclosed it. Remove any wiggle room or ambiguity they could later try to twist to claim they were somehow misled about the condition.
Okay, so prep is key. Pre-due diligence, full disclosure, hard non-refundable money, tight as-is clause.
That preparation does more than just provide documents. It allows you to maintain your posture, your confidence, and that's absolutely essential for when or if that dreaded retrade call actually comes. When they do call, your goal shifts. It's about demanding documentation, not getting dragged into an emotional justification.
Right, that moment of impact. When the pressure hits, that's where so many sellers falter. What's the absolute first thing you should do when you get that call or email demanding a discount?
Okay, step one is simple, but it feels counterintuitive in the moment. Go silent.
Silent. Just say nothing.
Let the buyer finish making their case, state their demand, then just pause. Count to 5 silently if you have to. That unexpected silence puts the pressure back on them. They often feel compelled to fill the void, and in doing so, they might reveal more, backtrack slightly, or even expose the weakness in their own argument. Don't rush to respond.
Okay, that takes nerve. So after the strategic silence, what's step two?
Step 2. Ask for the documentation. Don't argue about whether the market really changed or if the cap rates really moved. Don't get defensive. Simply, calmly, ask for the evidence that supports their claim of a necessary price reduction.
No emotion, just show me the proof.
Exactly. Keep it procedural. And then step 3 flows from that. Re-anchor the conversation to finding a solution based on facts, not on their supposed sympathy or your desperation.
Okay, let's use that example you mentioned earlier. Buyer calls, says, hey, our scope found a catastrophic sewer line issue. We need a $75,000 price reduction to close. What's the wrong response?
The wrong response is to panic, get defensive, start arguing like, no way, those lines are fine, we just had them checked, or that's outrageous, we can't afford that.
Okay, so what's the right response? The calm, prepared seller response.
The calm response is something like, okay, understood. A $75,000 issue sounds significant. Thanks for letting me know promptly. Can you please send over the full scope report from your licensed inspector, along with copies of the repair bids you've obtained from qualified contractors for that amount?
Ah, so you're not arguing the price directly, you're validating the premise behind the price cut demand.
Precisely. You're turning their vague claim, catastrophic issue, into a specific documentation request. sending me the report and the bids. If they're bluffing, if it's just a shakedown for a discount.
They won't have the detailed bids or a truly damning report.
Exactly. They might have a vague email from an inspector saying, recommend further investigation. But they won't have the hard evidence, the multiple contractor bids justifying that specific $75,000 number. A real problem comes with receipts. If they can't produce them, their bluff is called without you ever having to argue.
Okay. But what if they do have some documentation, maybe flimsy, and they still push hard for the discount? That's when we need to shift gears, right? Start using leverage. You called it the Rhino way. What's that?
Yeah, the Rhino way is about demonstrating aggressive stability. It means you never ever apologize for the solid fundamentals of your asset. When they try to retrade, you need to immediately shift the control dynamic back to you, the seller. You do that by calmly demonstrating you have alternatives and you know your property's true value.
Okay, how do we actually execute that power shift? What are the moves?
Number one move, subtly reference your backup buyers. This isn't a loud threat. It's a calm reminder of reality. You might say something like, look, I understand your new perspective on the sewer line cost. However, just so we're clear, we do have two other qualified parties who were very interested at the original contract price. If this adjustment is absolute non-negotiable for you, we may need to revisit those conversations.
Reminding them they aren't the only game in town. Creates an opportunity cost for them pushing too hard.
It absolutely does. Second tactic, offer concessions, not discounts. If maybe they did hit a genuine small snag, perhaps their appraisal came in slightly low, or their lender added a last-minute requirement, you might offer flexibility on time, but not on price.
How does that sound?
You could say, okay, I hear that the final loan approval is taking a bit longer. We can offer a 15-day extension to the closing date to accommodate that, but the agreed-upon purchase price needs to remain firm. Time is a concession you can sometimes give. Money is a permanent loss in a retrade. Avoid trading dollars for days.
Got it. Concede time, hold price. What's the final leverage play?
The final play is to flip the frame. Take control of the narrative, challenge the very basis of their request.
How do you do that?
If they're blaming financing or market conditions, your calm, confident response should be something like, well, we priced this property based on the verified income stream we provided you, which, as you know, remains stable and unchanged. The park's performance hasn't shifted. Perhaps something in your financing or underwriting approach has.
Ooh, nice. Puts the onus back on their execution, their problem, not a flaw in your asset.
Precisely. You challenge their premise, you subtly question their execution, and you anchor everything back to the verifiable stability of your property. It shifts the pressure right back onto them.
This whole deep dive really makes it clear. That retrade trap, it really only snaps shut if you panic, if you internalize their pressure, if you take the bait. The antidote seems to be this powerful mix, preparation, which means having your data ready, patience in how you respond, and maintaining that calm, confident posture when they inevitably try to test you.
You've nailed it. The pros who try these tactics, they know what they're doing. They know every retrade attempt is fundamentally a test. It's not really testing the property's true value, it's testing the seller's psychology, their nerve, their resolve.
Right.
And here's the thing. Sellers who hold their ground, who calmly demand documentation, who reference their alternatives, they don't automatically lose the deal. What they often do is effectively filter out the purely opportunistic buyers, the ones just looking for a last-minute steal, and they force the serious, committed buyers to honor the original agreement.
So holding firm actually strengthens your position with the right buyer.
In many cases, yes. Confidence closes deals. Desperation discounts them.
Okay, so since we know calmness is currency in these moments, and data is your best defense, here's something for everyone listening to think about as we wrap up. What's one specific piece of your property documentation? Maybe it is finally getting those sewer line scope videos or ordering that preemptive roof inspection report. What's one thing you could improve today to help inoculate yourself against that unexpected discount demand tomorrow? Ultimately, this is all about making sure you close the deal you actually signed, not the deal someone tried to talk you into at the 11th hour.